welcome back. Our guest is Chinelo Ulasi, who is known as Nalo, founder of her Coconut Perspective, which is a platform focused on identity, value, resilience, and purpose-driven leadership with experience across energy, education, edtech, bringing practical industry insight into conversations and which around leadership, personal growth, and authentic impact.
Good morning, Chinelo. You're welcome on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You look beautiful, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, let's begin with you. Which Chinelo, beyond the titles, beyond all of this formalities and prize, which Chinelo yourself?
Okay, I wasn't expecting that.
Right.
Chinelo is just a cool girl. Yes, somebody who loves to extend kindness to her world. Someone who is deeply passionate about what she's passionate about. Someone who values identity and intentional contribution over, there are so many voices everywhere. People are saying so many things online. So Chinelo is that girl that values her own voice and wants to stay true to herself.
Nice. So what are some of the experiences that shaped this present you now? This your passion. What some of the experiences you had, that shaped where you are, what you're doing right now?
Okay, I would say, I've been at that point, what people will call rock bottom, where you're not really sure of who you are. And, I was that lady who would always seek external validation. And my own was so bad, I wouldn't be seeking just one, several. I would need just several to complete me or to really understand what should I be doing. So I can say that I got to a point of confusion, like, who am I really? So I really wanted a change for myself. When you feel like you haven't stepped into that thing you should be doing, as a woman, as a person. So that necessitated me, locking myself in and really finding who I am. So I would say that is where it started.
So, like, talking about locking yourself in, at what point did you realize that, look, this woman that I need to talk to, that I need to inspire, they need to understand their self-worth. At what point did you realize that, it looks like this is my journey and this is me and this is my life's work? At what point did you realize that?
Maybe when I started to get feedback, really, a few years ago, how something that worked for me genuinely, I then, would find a way to put it together to make good use of it at work, for instance. And then being someone who, has gone above the ranks, and then you have people who look up to you, wearing many hats. I'm also very involved in church, so I can tell you I have a good number of people who look up to me. It was an opportunity to exercise that. And then when people come to you and genuinely give you feedback that this is what this thing you have said to me has done for me, I was like, okay, maybe something. Maybe there's something there, because I was at a point where people would think more highly of myself than I would even think, of me. So I had to pay attention to that, and it was really a game changer for me, to be honest.
At the name Coconut Perspective, what inspired that? It's quite different, it's unique. What does it mean? What inspired that?
I have a coconut head.
You love coconut a lot?
I just said coconut head because I was like, the coconut I know is coconut head.
Well, it's very interesting. So, I was just this lady who liked to write about certain things that I think and, to shape the culture in the workplace and, of course, in my personal life. And on that journey, I wanted to write about my coconut head. And really what I was trying to communicate was how I applied resilience, So the her in it is exclusive to me, like, my thoughts, how I think about certain things. But then the coconut is symbolic. It represents resilience for me. Think about how the exterior is hard, and then it is layered inside, it is soft, it is sweet. When you're looking at the coconut outside, you wouldn't even know what to expect, inside. And for me, that reflects strength and made me understand that in life, sometimes toughness will be demanded from you, but it doesn't mean you should lose your humanity. Whatever it is you find, yourself in, you should be able to bounce back, still maintaining who you are, And I know growing up, when someone says, oh, see your coconut head, it that means maybe you're dumb, you're stubborn, but that perspective changed, because we can ascribe positivity. It's just a coconut. Can ascribe positivity to it. What about resilience? So in a nutshell, it's about reframing strength and building yourself without losing your identity and who you are. So that's what it really is.
Okay, now as well said. Talking about the platform, right? How does it support women in different transitions, professional or personal level? How do you Alright, welcome back. Sorry about technical glitch. We're having a conversation with Chinelo. Now back to the coconut head question. Yeah, we're talking about the platform.
Yeah.
How that you are able to help women on personal level and professional level to transition, to navigate their path through the process. Yeah, that was the question.
Okay, so basically, I do this by speaking and writing about identity, value, structured growth, faith, and how those things can be sustained, And I would say that my work centers on a framework that I call the 3 divisions of value, and how I believe this is the easiest way to understand how growth should be, and it cuts across, personal life and professional life. And the understanding of the clarity of identity is really the foundation to sustainable success and impact. Yeah.
Beyond all of this, why do you think people struggle with their identity and value? Why?
I like to think that it's information. There are several reasons, right? Because I do not believe that you're born and then you just start to struggle. There are certain things that inform how we eventually turn out, like our experiences and where we grew up, the kind of words that were said to us. I remember a friend of mine who has what they call K-leg. She never knew she had K-leg until somebody told her she had K-leg. And then from that day, she started to be conscious of what she wears because of information. So most times, I would say is information, what is being, said, what you see growing up, the environment you're in, your place of work. So that can really impact on how people see themselves and, their identity, really.
Okay, talking about the month of March,
yes.
We have a lot going on, but we fully recognize as International Women's Month.
Yes.
First, what does it mean to you? And second of all, we understand that the theme is about collaboration and shared values among women. How important is collaboration needed strongly amongst women?
Okay, so I would say, firstly, any opportunity to celebrate women, I am there, because I am a woman supporting woman kind of girl. Yes, I think it is important. I believe that, like they say, if you want to go far, you need to go along with people. And no better way than to go with your gender. Because we have the same pain points, we understand where it hurts, we have similar experiences. So when you have someone who understands you because they've been where you are, and they can bring you up, that is priceless. So this International Women's Month, and then the theme, which is Give to Gain, is so important to me, because firstly, it resonates deeply with what I talk about, identity. And you really cannot give sustainably without knowing who you are. So it still boils back to, who am I really, and from what point should I give, right? So I really look forward to us having this conversation at scale, so that people can understand, from what point they're expected to give, and some of the things we'll be talking about is how to structure your giving so that you do not lose yourself in the process. So collaboration is,
but beyond all of the nice empowerment talks and what does empowerment look like beyond slogans and just bylines? What's the real actual empowerment like?
Empowerment. I mean, okay, let me think about that for a second. I mean, empowerment means for you to be empowered to have the ability to carry out something, for you to be equipped, like fortified with information to go about, what you need to do. And that's why this month, the month of March, and the IWD is very instrumental, because aside the celebration, one of the things it brings for women is clarity. Questions you've had, maybe in your career, maybe in your personal life, things you do not understand. You have people who might have been where you are, who have gone ahead of you, who can answer these questions. I am a product of International Women's Day. I have been in an International Women's Day event that changed my life completely. That was when I learned that I needed core values, and that changed the game for me totally. So I believe that, the information that we are going to bring and share with women is really going to, bring about the empowerment and the change that they need in their life.
Okay, so this year you're collaborating and partnering with Silverbird Communications. So much excitement there. Yeah, can you tell us about this partnership and what you intend to dish out? You may not want to spill all of it, but then celebrating International Women's Day, what do you want to give us?
Firstly, it's really an honor. And I think it's a testament of what the theme actually is, give to gain. Because for me to be able to be on this platform to share what I know is because I chose to give. And this is like a gain, for me. So that is a practical way one can look at it. First of all, I'm honored to collaborate with Silverbird. And something I'm going to do is to ensure like I mentioned again, that my work centers around helping people really understand who they are and what they stand for, And you can know who you are, what you stand for, and not know how to give to gain, So that is where structured giving comes to play. And a lot of women get exhausted. Especially women in leadership positions, women with caregiving roles and all of that. They do not know how to give the right way. So the conversation that we are going to have at scale will help to address those individual issues that they have. Because sometimes the issue is not that I don't know who I am. What if I know who I am, but then I don't just know how to structure myself. I feel like my life is scattered. How do I really give? How do I really impact without losing myself? I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. How do I bring it all together? The conversation we are going to have on International Women's Day will address all of this.
Why is it important for the media? Why is it important? Why is media in partnership important for women to why is it important in amplifying women's voices, and leadership, because not all the women have platforms.
Please come again.
Yes, so why is media partnership important in amplifying women's voices and leadership?
Well, I would say, first of all, any partnership, it's important because you get to hear, what you didn't know. And I mean, right now, media is everything. It gives you a platform to be able to use your voice, to touch people who ordinarily you wouldn't have had, access to. So I think, it's instrumental, and a platform like Silverbird with the credibility, and all of that. When people see that, these panelists are coming, this keynote speaker is coming, they are going to take it, really serious. So I think, it's a great thing going on there.
Now, your work emphasizing on collaboration, because that's like a bedrock for anything. Why is it important for communities to take advantage of this tool called collaboration? Because most people be like, I'm just on my own, I'm a loner, it's my game, it's my thing. Most especially amongst women, they don't want to do things together because, there's comparison, unhealthy comparison. There is this, I'm the best of my kind, that kind of. So how can we nurture this mindset amongst women to appreciate and embrace collaboration?
The question I have is, aren't you exhausted?
Some might not be.
No, because it gets to, there is, but how far? you know, you can go doing stuff yourself. If it's something you want to really impact a community, you cannot go as one man. You need an army.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to communicate whatever vision you have. And it will amaze you the number of women who will be willing to run with the vision. So you really cannot go far doing things alone. If a woman is really serious about impacting her world, then she wouldn't want to go alone. So for anyone who has that mindset, I feel like there has to be a re-engineering or some sort of unlearning or education, you know, and it's going to give you rest, you know, because if, let's say, for instance, you're the bearer of the vision, you can pass it on to some other people while you're doing things at a higher level. It doesn't just have to be you, because it will inevitably lead to burnout. It will lead to exhaustion. It will lead to stress, and that is not sustainable.
I like how you put it right and, you know, said it right. You know, there's one message that you want women who are watching to take away from the conversation, from your work. What would it be?
I would say that if you are listening to me right now, as a woman, you're allowed to build without losing yourself. You're allowed to bloom. You're allowed to be everything you've been called to be. But if you really do not know who you are, if you do not have values, and if you do not put structure around your generosity and how you give and how you contribute, you know, it wouldn't be sustainable. So let's just say, let's look forward to International Women's Day. So much is going to be said.
Because we put pressure on women. Every woman wants to be an impact leader now.
Yes.
So the pressure is worse. Some people just don't want to have any ambition. I just say I won't be a mother, take care of kids. I don't really need to be a leader, boardroom, 5-6 weeks business, whatever. I mean, okay, can we be less ambitious? I'm just asking.
Can we be less ambitious?
Can we? Because every woman has initiative now. 10 ways to do this. I'm just saying that the conversation around International Women's Day, I mean, is there not so much pressure on women to become now that we finally found our voices?
I think there are different things here that we want to unpack. First of all, God has given us free will, right? So if someone chooses not to be ambitious, well,
so the way I even said it is almost like if you are choosing not to be ambitious, what do you define as ambition? That's my own question.
You know, when you want to, right now, I will define it as when you want to live for something other than yourself, something that is bigger than you. You know, and it doesn't mean that you have to sit in front of a ring light. It can be it can be in your community. It can be in your family. Life doesn't just start and stop with you and, you know, just your household. You can be useful in some way. I feel like God was gracious enough to give us gifts and a mind that can think, you know, so far. But for anyone who really isn't interested, I think that is okay. But for those who are ambitious, who want to change the world, you know, I don't believe that exhaustion comes from capacity, you know, or performance. I believe exhaustion comes from undefined obligation, undefined giving, when what you're doing is not structured. Okay, when how you give your time, your energy, even your money is not structured. When you're doing it of validation, expectations, when every move is moving you back again to who are you really? What are your values? So it boils down to, it's not a capacity problem. It's, do you know who you are? What are you about?
I'm sure we're going to get the best of you on International Women's Day.
Exactly. To unpack on Friday.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Nice having you on the show to unpack everything that has to do with what you do, International Women's Month, and also looking at what you do and all the works that's Chinelo Lassie. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for coming on the show. We'll take a break. When we come back, we still have more interesting conversations. Don't go anywhere.